What's up, everybody? Welcome to Patriot Party News, episode 13. DC will remain an occupied military zone. While we've got you here, everybody do us a favor. Please subscribe. And if you really enjoy this content, give it a share. You can follow us on Gab at gab.com/PatriotPartyNews. All right, so why is DC a military occupied zone? Let's get into it. The Daily Mail is reporting between 5,000 to 7,000 National Guard troops will remain in Washington, D.C. until March because of alleged threats against Congress ahead of Donald Trump's impeachment trial. Federal law enforcement officials are examining a number of threats aimed at members of Congress as the former president's second trial nears, including chatter about killing legislators or attacking them outside the U.S. Capitol, sources told the Associated Press. You know what my response is? What a load of crap.
I can promise you the security measures we have here are unprecedented, but the lessons learned from this inauguration will certainly shape future-like events in our country.
Now that the inauguration is over, some of the troops and law enforcement charged with protecting the Capitol will head home. 6,000 troops will remain on hand for the next 30 days to continue their security detail. Closed bridges like the Memorial and Roosevelt will reopen at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we'll begin to see some barriers ease as well. But things could change as law enforcement gathers information on threats to federal property and those responsible for running the government.
The biggest challenge that we should be worried about as a country is, at a time of transition of power, obviously America's on high alert. But the capitals in the United States is one concern that I have. Because as we draw resources from all over the United States to the D.C. area, we should be looking and worried, and I know law enforcement is, about a coordinated movement throughout our nation by both domestic and non-state actors. But we also, as law enforcement, we rely on the public so much. If you remember, after 9/11, we had the See Something, Say Something campaign going on. If they see something, call FBI.
So these numbers literally make no sense. Let's put this into perspective. This year they started drawing down troops in Iraq and Syria, or Iraq and Afghanistan, and they're only going to leave 2,500 troops in each country. That's a total of 5,000 troops for two countries. So why in the hell does DC need 5,000 to 7,000 for one city? So my question is what are the threats that these guys are anticipating? 7,000 guardsmen is enough to fight an actual war. Now, maybe not a large-scale war, but certainly some of the engagements we've had in the recent years could be handled by 7,000 people. They're not just 7,000 people. They're 7,000 armed, and in some cases armored with actual personnel-carrying vehicles. The city is literally a military-occupied zone. There's fencing, there's checkpoints, and this is going to stay until March. Now, I had a feeling that this was going to happen, but I don't think it has anything to do with threats. I have some theories about it. So my first question is what are they hiding? If it really is related to threats, what are the threats? The threats have to be significant enough to require the asset expenditure, right? This is costing a fortune. So what is it? Why not come out and be honest with the American people instead of just saying something like ominous, like threat towards legislators? You know what else would work? The police force. Armed escorts to and from each building. You don't need 7,000 troops. Is it possible that this is the first step in an expansion of the police state? In my video yesterday, I mentioned the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act. Could these two things be related? Do you need to have those troops in town because you're afraid of what's going to happen? Even more, what if this is all related to the Great Reset? What if they are fully aware that people are going to be very upset by the things that they're about to do over the next few months? And it's not the impeachment of Donald Trump, but actual legislation that they're going to be putting forward and executive orders that are going to come out of the White House. Is it possible that these orders are going to be so extreme that it really would generate a response from the populace? I have no idea what that would look like, and I feel terribly sorry for the guardsmen that have to sit in the middle and play politics with these jerks. The guardsmen are not meant to be a police force for Washington, D.C. The guardsmen are there to take care of us when emergencies happen, when there's flooding like in Katrina, or when there's an external threat from outside the country. They are not meant to just stand around and guard fake walls in our Capitol. Some of you might have saw the reports that the Trump Hotel was actually going to admit the guardsmen in, and I don't think that can be a long-term solution. So my question is, are they actually going to provide accommodations for these 7,000 guardsmen that are just right now sleeping in the Capitol building, and some that got relegated to a parking garage before they fixed that issue? Are they actually going to get some barracks built? What if they spend the money on this and this actually becomes a semi-permanent to permanent situation where there's always guardsmen in the Capitol? How would you feel about the fact that when you go to visit Washington, D.C. to see the Smithsonian, you have to go through checkpoints to make sure that you're not armed? Is this some kind of dystopia that we're moving towards? To me, it really feels that way, and it's very upsetting. And now let's talk about our dirtbag of the week. So our dirtbag of the week actually comes from my area. He's a North Texas native. His name, Jackson Riffett. And what did Jackson do? Well, Jackson reported his own father to the FBI for participating in the Capitol Hill riot. Now, it is good that a concerned citizen would tell the FBI that someone was planning on doing something bad, but a son should never tell on his father. But beyond that, he should never use the experience to gain notoriety by doing interviews on CNN and using that platform to raise money for his college fund. Now, Jackson says that he really feels bad for his dad. He's not sorry for what he did, but he does feel bad for his dad, and he hopes that they can fix the relationship. Well, Jackson, I highly doubt it. If I was your dad, I'd never talk to you again. But you know what? You did it, son. You're our dirtbag of the week. All right, guys. Well, we're going to continue to monitor the situation in D.C. It is very alarming that there's 7,000 troops. So keep checking back in to check in for more news. And if you live in the D.C. area, reach out to us and tell us what it's like. We'd love to interview you. Okay. Now do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this video. You can find us on Gab at gab.com/PatriotPartyNews. We really look forward to connecting with you guys and growing this community. See you later.